It's Plymouth Arts Weekend 2016 and I'm at Comma 5 in South Side Street, the Barbican, Plymouth. I've just found a piece of modern art. Well, it's Plymouth Arts Weekend and I've just found a piece of modern art. Right in the heart of Plymouth. Hello. How's it going?
Yeah, good. Great.
And what's your name?
Tim Pierce.
And you've been in the Barbican for a while now?
Yeah, we've been here for about a year in this the building at 5 Southside Street, just opposite Plymouth Gin, making our work upstairs in the old Lenkovich studio, which is really nice.
And you've got a dark room there, haven't you?
Yeah. I do. All my photography is.
Can you speak down into the light a bit? Cheers, that's cool.
All my photography is entirely handmade, all in the dark room, using traditional sort of analog processes and weird and wonderful chemicals and old paper and things like that. So it's all fun, kind of get your hands dirty, but.
I was saying to somebody earlier, you get hooked on the smell of it. So
yeah, you do.
Smell these sort of ammonia.
Yeah, and
you cross-contaminated the chemicals.
Yeah, and the ether from the collodion as well. That's always a memorable one.
So how did you get into traditional photography?
Well, I worked as a photographer from about the age of 17. I used to work for a photographer in Somerset. I was his printer,
yes.
And he taught me how to print in the darkroom, colour mainly. And I worked commercially for years and years in studios and all sorts of things. And then I just sort of got very bored of the commercial photography world, so I decided to take a step away and do something completely different and get into more art-based photography and the traditional darkroom practice a few years ago. Yeah.
Just looking at your work reminded me, I've just come back from Arcachon in France, and they've actually got very thriving photo studios there.
Yeah.
And Britain seems to have lost its angle of that. Photo studios don't survive in the UK anymore. No,
they don't. It's very difficult for photo studios at the moment, for a lot of reasons, really. The usual buyers of photography, all the commissioners of photography, have decided to hire less professionals and go through other channels to collect their visual media. So a lot of photo studios that would be working commercially would generally now have to have many strings to their bow to just to make ends meet. And if they don't do that, it's very difficult for them. To survive, sadly.
Well, it's like the BBC and all of the magazines take on work experience students, and they'll turn out stuff for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So they're always looking for cheap ways of collecting imagery, whether that's through harvesting images from social media or exchanging use of imagery for promotional material. It's just the way it's developing. But we as sort of professional photographers have to kind of fight that.
Do you use digital?
No, I never use any digital equipment. I don't own a digital camera. I don't even own a laptop. All my work's kind of all entirely handmade.
Brain pressure as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's nice to be able to produce your work physically by hand rather than just by using your eye in a computer screen. It sort of trains the hands to work in conjunction with the mind and the heart to create your work, which is.
And it's a physical thing as well.
Yeah, it's intensely physical. I mean, the camera I have upstairs, which I use to shoot a lot of my work, is 6 foot tall and 8 foot long, and actually just making a photograph with that camera, it's a physical experience, everything's very heavy and it really gives you a new perspective on the idea of making a photograph and how difficult it actually can be.
So what photographers do you like?
There's many, but the one photographer who's kind of my hero in the photographic world is Edward Steichen, who's fantastic photographer, kind of invented the concept of advertising photography, and before that he did fine art portraiture and some beautiful abstract landscape work, and he's just a fantastic photographer.
And where do you market your work?
All across the world, really. I sell in galleries in the Netherlands and in the US.
Anything in France? Because Bailey...
No, not at the moment. I'm looking at expanding out in there. And during my master's degree, which I'm starting next month, I'm going to be pushing my work further afield. I'm going to.
Munich and Frankfurt seem to be good places for
yeah,
well.
yeah, definitely Germany, and the market in China is going through the roof at the moment as well for fine art photography. In Singapore as well. In the it's a great place to to sell.
Yes, to go and visit as well.
Yeah.
So what's your website?
I have. It's timpierce.co.uk.
Facebook?
Facebook, same. And
You're not on laptop?
no, but I do have a mobile phone, which I can use.
I wasn't trying to catch you out. Do you want to just quickly show us some of your work?
Yeah, sure. Which piece would you?
Just go through what you think is.
Okay. Well, this is an ambrotype, 20 by 24 inch.
And what's an ambrotype?
An ambrotype is a wet collodion photograph made on a piece of glass, which is a one-off. So it's kind of you prepare the surface to be chemically reactive to light through application of silver nitrate, and then you make your exposure. It's not very sensitive to light at all, so you need a lot of light to make an exposure. So
how long did it take to process this one?
Ambrotype process is kind of I always tell people it's like a 19th century Polaroid. It's very, very quick.
Yeah.
But the difficulty is in learning the process and mastering the process, because it's very, very, very difficult to sort of get started in it in that way. So it's taken sort of years to get to the level where I can actually produce plates of this size. Currently I'm the only person in the UK making them this big.
Cracking.
Because usually they're very small, about 4 by 5 inches or 10 by 8 inches maximum. But I prefer the large ones. They have a bit more impact.
So should we move on?
Yeah, sure. These two pieces are from a series exploring ideas of coping with external pressures. I wanted to visualise vulnerability to external influence.
Is that done in the studio upstairs?
Yeah, that was shot in the Liquid studio.
So that's a nude in the Liquid studio.
Yeah.
Back to this
traditional use. Yeah. But these were.
Photographed Robert Liquid nudes.
Did you?
And shot video. Yeah.
These were exhibited at the.
That's almost like a Liquid's pose, actually.
But this series was exhibited at the 15th Venice Art and Architecture Biennale last month.
Where was that, sorry?
Venice.
Yeah.
Last month.
And how was that received?
Really well, yeah, very good. They like it for the.
So how did they get in contact with you? How did you get in contact?
They've just seen my work in various different places and asked me to exhibit there, which was a nice surprise.
So how do you market your work for them to see it?
Just online. I'm a member of the Lens Culture website, so I'm a full member of that. I'm often in the press.
Is that Lens Culture website? Is that a purist?
No, that's all sorts of photography on there. But you have to be sort of invited to be a part of it. So that's a really good thing to be involved with. Yeah.
Nice one.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It's been manipulated in the darkroom.
Well, this one is actually a silver gelatin print, which I've manipulated through soaking in a water bath for 2 weeks, mixed in with some selenium toner to bring out these different colours on the edges of the water meniscus.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about these is they're completely unpredictable. You don't know how they're going to end up.
A bit like solarisation. That's to the poetry, really.
Yeah,
It's been catching it just right.
Definitely. And I thought, the model's gaze in this really suits the process. So that's why I did that. Cool. Okay. This is a triptych about self-realisation.
Yes.
So each of these images represents a different stage of self-realisation, self-acceptance. So yeah, that's what.
What's the process?
These are lith prints
Yes.
on gold paper rather than silver gelatin
So that takes
paper.
away a lot of the midterms.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, they're very, very contrasty,
Yeah.
but I think it kind of it suits. And the paper's very rare, and so it's they're great. Okay, so this is a self-portrait. I don't usually do self-portrait.
Almost looks like a Salvador Dali from a distance without me.
But this, I woke up one morning and I had a really strange experience at night, and I felt as though I'd been sucked into a dream, you know, like sort of physical and metaphysical had come together for a moment, and I'd sort of, I don't know, become something else, you know, in my mind. And I woke up in the morning and I sort of had to just run down to the studio and try and recreate the feeling of being sort of absorbed into a different kind of.
You must have had quite a clear head to just be able to concentrate on that one.
Yeah. It was a really strange sort of experience, but it just goes to show, you know, you can get inspiration for making making photographs in any way. But again, this is another lith print, which.
Where did you learn your skills?
I taught myself. I've been working in a dark room since I was 17, so I've sort of got used to the various different processes.
There's more of a fine art dark room now.
Yeah, now it is. Yeah,
Different
definitely. But I always think, you know, it's great to learn all the ins and outs of every technique you can. If you learn as much as you can about it, you can really use all of these techniques to their fullest, and kind of you can use them to manipulate your own work, and you can create things that maybe you couldn't create in any other way.
And what's this one?
So these two are a little diptych, sort of concerning kind of mental health, depression, essentially. And we have the rising sense of overpowering the feeling, and then the darkness and the crushing nature of it as well, which I wanted to express through these two images.
So how long did it take you to process the idea, bring it from tuition to completion?
Well, how I work, I have a sketchbook, and I draw my images first. As soon as they come into my head, you know, I keep my sketchbook by my bed at night, just in case I have some kind of dream in which I see it. Yeah. But I always draw out the photograph first, and how I want it to look. and then I sort of take it to the sort of technical drawing board and think, how can I achieve that? And I think what I want the end result to look like. And I think if I use that process, use this type of lighting, I will get that effect which I want, and then I apply that to the drawing to develop it further, and then only then do I go into the studio and create the image.
Yeah.
So it can take months, years. You know, I've got sketchbooks from 3-4 years ago with images in, which I'm going to be making next year probably.
Is your camera still accessible upstairs?
Yeah.
Should we just have a quick look at it?
Yeah, sure. If you like.
Cheers.
This is James.
This is an interesting piece of work. What's your name?
My name's Josh Greet. Graduated from
Yeah.
Graduated from the art college 5 years ago.
Yes.
And this is my final piece from that. It's kind of summing up internet culture and how we now bow down to the internet as a religion.
Yes.
It was originally shown with a few other pieces,
So it's not
but
ecstasy tablets then?
no, it's not.
Sorry.
Okay.
So how is it constructed?
So it was 10 images shot at slightly different angles and then printed using a holographic printer. So there's 10 layers of film to make the image up. And when you move around, it produces 3D effect. It was originally inspired by internet GIFs and the way they move,
Yes.
and then also partly inspired by holograms you used to get in cereal boxes when you were a kid, which aren't so popular anymore. And also, I just like the whole holographic process. It's a pretty cool way to show off work. And I think it fits in with the internet culture aspect of it being shown like a GIF. It was originally displayed rotating itself, so it was had a motor, and it was on the skateboard bearings, and the picture actually swung in front of you, so you didn't have to walk around to experience the 3D effect.
Yeah.
But currently where it's being shown, you have to walk around the space to see it move in front of you.
So are you a photographer or?
Yeah, I'm a photographer, but
Very
fine art.
technical photographer.
Yes, technical photographer. I've produced. What got me into doing this originally is I did a lot of three-dimensional photography using 3D cameras with 4 lenses, and then I produced this with a digital camera and 10 different images, so it's a bit different.
Are you influenced by advertising?
This was kind of a bit influenced by like how to show an image off, and I think I definitely saw the kind of I could see how it could be used for advertising in the future as well, using holograms. I mean, it has been used for film posters and stuff, but it's not necessarily moved on billboards and stuff like that, which I think it could be.
What sort of market are you aiming for?
At the time, I think I was aiming for more just like make a bit of a statement about how we're obsessed with technology and how it's kind of taking over.
Yeah.
I think more so in the years following this project, it's become more of a prominent subject, with children growing up using the mobile phones and being kind of the internet being ingrained into our culture so much. I'm not necessarily disapproving of it, I'm just making a statement of it.
It all has a subliminal effect on.
Yes, exactly.
people's directions in life.
Yeah, definitely. It's basically, I wanted to produce some kind of like way of viewing the internet as a religion and as like a god, and then with banners with the Internet Explorer on, kind of like Nazi red draping banners with the swastikas on.
So what sort of work are you looking for?
Pardon?
What sort of work are you looking for now you've done the...
I'm going back to study a Masters in 3 weeks at the Art College. mainly focusing on editorial and a bit of fashion work, influenced by a lot of fine art. Kind of
Have you seen the work of Nick Knight in London?
No, I haven't.
Nick Knight is a fashion photographer who works for...
Oh, Nick Knight, no, sorry, I thought you said Late Night, yeah.
He's very experimental in photography and
Yes,
formats.
yeah, he is.
And
He's
very colourful as well.
Yeah.
Well, like your three-dimensional, I can think of in fashion photography.
Yeah, definitely.
It's slightly different.
Yeah, I have used the 3D photography in fashion quite a bit.
Yeah.
Just not as of late.
Have you worked in fashion photography then?
Yes, yeah, I have.
So where were you working?
As soon as I graduated, I moved to London for 2.5 years and worked within the fashion industry, working for Illustrated People.
Yeah.
Did some work with Vice and Adidas as well, with 3D photography. But I haven't done quite a lot of 3D stuff in a while.
Yeah.
Going back into more traditional photography now, but I still do 3D.
Did you find it easy to get in with the industry in London? Or
I think I was lucky.
Yes.
I did. I found links with London before I'd moved, so when I moved I had a job and a base and I could move around from there. But I was permanently based in a fashion studio, so it's a good place to be if you want to meet people in the fashion industry, because there's people coming in every day. Yeah.
So where would you like to work?
Don't really know at the moment, to be honest.
America,
I'd like to, I don't necessarily just want to focus on fashion. I like shooting it, but it's not necessarily what I want to be making.
There's a lot of Americans like shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, just to...
Yeah, exactly.
Don't get upset in America.
I wouldn't mind travelling all over, to be honest, doing it. Got some ties in Chicago, I might follow them up.
Yeah. Have you got a website?
Yeah, it's joshgreet.co.uk.
Yeah.
So take a look. And no, I don't have
You don't have Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot for that.
No worries. Cheers.
Hello, what's your name? That's a very defensive pose you've got there.
I'm James Wells.
How's it going?
Good, thank you.
So you're part of Plymouth Arts Weekend as well?
Yep.
And what sort of work do you do?
I'm a landscape photographer.
Yeah.
Mainly focusing on sort of experimental landscapes, so surreal, abstract things. Something that challenges what you think about normal landscapes, everyday sort of stuff. Usually trying to look at the way we impact on the environment, things like that. So it's usually quite a destructive set of images usually.
So you're a rider, you like cycling as well? So,
I like cycling as well, yeah.
So you like being at one with the elements outside?
Yeah, I try my best to, obviously photography uses harsh chemicals and things, try my best to balance it all out by not using forms of transport.
Photographer as well?
Yeah, traditional photographer. Like I said, can't drive, so don't don't ruin the environment that way, but
money, actually.
So try and ride my bike as much as I can and get out and about on that and use it as my main mode of transport really. So
these are pretty big prints, aren't they?
Yeah, massive
what
prints.
What sort of camera were they shot on?
Just a traditional 5x4 film camera.
Yeah.
Then blown up, scanned in and blown up. These are digital prints only because I couldn't print them this big in the darkroom at the time.
Yeah.
But they are.
Photography is pretty expensive.
It can be, yeah. I try and use eBay as much as possible, things like that. Try and get myself good deals on film and things, and using film that's out of date and a bit of an experiment means you save some of the costs on that.
So when did you get into landscape photography?
Don't really like people that much, so it's a little bit better in that sense. I really
it can use a lot of mental energy being with people all the time. Then you're always thinking to coordinate with those.
Yeah, I do enjoy portraiture every now and then, but I do prefer landscapes and architecture, things like that. Things that don't move, things that are a little bit easier to talk to. I just like capturing the landscape the way I see it, as opposed to how it is really.
Are you from Plymouth originally?
No, from London originally.
So what brought you to Plymouth?
University, so I went to the art college, did my degree in photography there.
Yeah.
That's what brought me to Plymouth.
And then did you stay in Plymouth?
Well, I left for a little while and then I just came back. It's just such a nice place to be.
Yeah.
Know lots of people down here, and it was just such a great place to be, so I came back and start my master's degree this year as well.
Cool. So you're still at uni?
I will be going back, yeah. I'm going back to university.
Where do you market your work at the moment?
Don't really market anywhere at the moment. I've got my
Yeah.
Instagram page, things like that, just sort of keep a little bit of a presence going, but just try and put it out there more and more this year as I make more work.
And who are you influenced by?
Sort of some of the great landscape photographers like Ansel Adams,
Yeah.
and the F64
Do you use the
group.
zone system?
Yeah, I mean, I use I use the zone system. I just try and keep the photography element of it.
Too technical if you use
Yeah,
the zone system
sometimes.
all the time.
I try and keep the raw parts of the photography as best as I can. So always use a tripod, always shoot F64 or lower. Yeah, and you just always make sure you're doing that part, actually taking the photograph is the best you can.
Yeah.
So that when it comes to processing it and looking at it later on, it's already perfect, so you don't have to worry about messing around and things like that.
So have you got a website?
Not at the moment, no. Just my Instagram page at the moment.
Facebook is.
Facebook and Instagram.
What's your Facebook?
It's James Wells Photography.
Say again?
James Wells Photography is the page I've got at the moment.
Cool.
The same with the Instagram as well.
Can we just have a quick look at some of your work?
Yeah.
This is West Hill, isn't it?
Yeah.
Come on.
So this was done using an really old, I can't remember the age of it, an old camera that's half frame, medium format, and the ability to, it's a Corol, it's sort of like something they used to sell in boots kind of thing, it's like a Riviera style, throw in your bag camera, easy to use for anyone, and just thought with the ability to wind it on manually, you can do whatever you like. So these were all shot straight onto the film without cutting it at all. So I can make them as long or as short as I like. And I found the technique really useful to make these sort of landscapes, these panoramas. It's really quite interesting. Depending on how far away you are from the subject and things, it really changes the distortion on the buildings, and especially with Plymouth's architecture the way it is, it's really good to get a really interesting image.
Yeah, it's quite thought-provoking because there's something going up every day at the moment.
It's going to be
interesting to see what directions the buildings are going.
It's going to be very interesting to see that over the next few years. Quite a few developments, so I'd be quite keen to get out and photograph them as well.
Well, thanks very much.
That's alright.
This is the Robert Lankiewicz studio, and these are markings that were left by Robert Lankiewicz when he was setting up models and artwork. In this area of the building, Robert used to have a double bed.
It is lovely having a space where you can really set out
So this is the large format camera that you were talking about.
Yeah, this is my my ultra large format camera. Makes 20 by 24 inch negatives.
Crikey.
Which gives us.
Where do you get the film from for it?
Well, I was very lucky in the fact that a photographer went out of business years ago, and he sold me a pallet of large format, ultra large format film. So I have a large stockpile of it, but it's very rare. Ilford will still make it for you, a company who make film, if you request it.
Yes.
But it's very rare to find in the wild, as it were. But
how do you get the financial backing? Do you get support?
No, I do everything off my own back. It's the passion for kind of working with the format that drives me. It's quite a...
So what sort of lens is it you're using?
I use military kind of aerial reconnaissance lenses. So this is a 1220mm f8 from a spy plane. That's for sort of portraits.
What sort of aperture can you get in?
That's a straight f8. So, but then I've got other lenses down here for landscape work and for still life work. I mean, they'll stop down to f128.
Yeah.
And get absolute sharpness. No distortion. They're kind of flat field lenses, so they're ideal for ultra-large format work.
Come from?
I built this camera. You can't really get them very easily anymore. So if you kind of, if you want to work in this format, you have to kind of make your own. It took 5 months.
Yes.
But I had to teach myself how to do all the joinery because I'd never made anything out of wood before. So
You're in the dark there. Well, you've got to have quite a technical. You've got to have quite a technical head to build some lens.
Yeah. I mean,
but if you're using traditional darkroom, you're quite technical anyway.
It's kind of based off a design of a smaller camera. So the only, I mean, they're quite simple machines anyway.
Where did these come from?
I had to have them custom made by a company in Birmingham. We still make bellows for cameras.
Did a fair tune. What you say? Thanks a lot for that.
Yeah. No worries.
You can contact Comma 5 through Facebook. This has been a Chris Summerfield vlog production 2016. You can contact me, sponsor me and support me through PayPal at christopher.summerfield@gmail.com. You can also contact me through ccsPhoto12@hotmail.com. It's a lifestyle thing. Be who you want to be.